now session 6C. Okay, I have a mentor essay and a checklist. Now what? You make an outline to create your own essay, of course. You take your mentor essay and your writing checklist and you create an essay outline to make sure you include everything we've talked about. Okay, let's take this step by step so it's not overwhelming. In a few minutes, you're going to open to a clean page in the writing portion of your writing notebook to create an outline. Okay, let's review a little though before we start to write. Think back to our boxes and bullets essay structure from several lessons ago. Notice it includes 3 sections: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. So we want to think about those ideas as we proceed with our outline. But we also want to remember the ideas from the checklist from the last session, especially the categories under structure. The overall structure of your essay, the structure of the lead, using transitions, the structure of our ending, and of course, overall organization. How do we do that? We combine the ideas together, like this. We talk about our lead, our introduction. We talk about our claim. We have some reasons. Then we go into our body paragraph, the first support paragraph, to prove that we know what we're talking about. You're going to use your reason number 1, and then you're going to give some evidence, some quotes, some summaries, some paraphrases, examples from the text to prove we know what we're talking about. Then you're going to talk about body paragraph 2, a second support paragraph. You're going to talk about your reason number 2. You're going to add some evidence, some quotes, summaries, paraphrases, more examples from the text to prove that you know what you're talking about again. Some of you might have a third reason, so you're going to have a third body paragraph, a third support paragraph. You're going to include the same things as the other support paragraph, just about your third reason instead of the other ones. Then, of course, you need an ending. You need a conclusion. In your conclusion, you want to make sure you repeat your claim, just to remind your readers what it is you want them to believe. You want to make sure you repeat important points. So anything you said that was brilliant, say it again so they don't forget. And then, of course, end with something powerful. You want a powerful ending statement. You want to end with strength. This is going to be the last paragraph, the last sentences your reader are going to hear from you. So you want to make sure that they are powerful. That way, there's no excuse. They have to believe you and they have to remember what you have to say. Okay, I bet you're thinking, how am I going to do this? It's too much. Stick with me. I've got you. Here's an example of what I would do with my story, The Most Magnificent Thing by Ashley Spires. Okay, so here's my essay outline. I start with the lead, the introduction. Here's the claim you've heard from me before. The girl shows determination to accomplish her goal. And then I had a couple of reasons to prove I'm a smarty pants and I know what I'm talking about. These are the 2 reasons. She tries again, and she sees the positives in the things she's made. So that's my lead. That's my introduction. Next, I need my body paragraph, my first support paragraph. So I'm going to go back to my first reason, she tries again, and I'm going to give 2 to 3 pieces of evidence from the story just to prove that this reason actually is in the story and I'm not just making it up. So here's one of my evidence. After the girl makes the first thing, she notices it's not right. She tosses it aside and gives it another go. Notice this was my combination one from session 5, where I talked about how I can use summaries and quotes to make a combination of evidence. But I can't just have one, so here's my second one. The girl saws and glues and adjusts. She stands and examines and stares. She twists and tweaks and fastens. Notice I have my ellipses there to show that this quote continues, but this is enough proof right now to show that she tried lots and lots of different ways to keep trying and not giving up. Okay, so that's my body 1, my first support paragraph, talking about my first reason. But I can't stop there. I need to make sure my reader really does know that I know what I'm talking about. So here's my body 2, my second support paragraph. I'm going to talk about my reason 2. I'm going to talk about how she finds positives in the things she made. And of course, I need evidence. So here's a piece of evidence that proves she sees the positive. Then she notices something surprising. There are some parts of the wrong things that are really quite right. The bolts on one, the shape of another, the wheel-to-seat ratio of the next. There are all sorts of parts that she likes. Notice I'm using a quote here. You also might notice that I really only have one supporting piece of evidence here, so I may want to go back in the story and add a second one before I move on to my final ending. But for now, this will work as an example. Okay, I don't have a body 3, a third support paragraph, because I only have 2 reasons. But if you have a third reason, you'll want to include your body 2, your third, or your body 3, your third supporting paragraph, right here. Okay, so the last thing is the ending, the conclusion. I want to make sure I repeat my claim. The girl shows determination to accomplish her goal. And then I want to repeat some of my important points. Here's 2 of them. Even when the first thing was wrong, she didn't give up. And even when she wanted to quit, she took a walk and gained a new perspective instead of quitting. Notice both of these things kind of repeat a little bit about what I said in body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2, just in new words. That way my reader doesn't get bored. That's the last thing I want, is my reader to get bored. So I want to shake it up and use different words. And then, of course, I want to end with strength. I want to have a powerful ending statement. Nobody should give up. Even if things are going wrong, you should still keep trying and find the positives. This is kind of the message, kind of the central idea of what I really want my readers to get out of my essay, but also this is what Ashley Spires wanted us to get out of her story, The Most Magnificent Thing. So I want to end with power. Now remember, I didn't just invent these ideas straight out of my head right this second. I got the ideas from the notes that I already had in my notebook from previous sessions. We've been thinking about these for several days. Then I just filled that information into the outline structure with all of my ideas so that it would make logical sense, so that my essay would be organized. Okay, I got my lead, my introduction for my claim and my reasons that I've been talking about. And then my 2 support paragraphs just separated my reasons so that I could elaborate on them, so I can add more information and make sure I have evidence. And then the last thing I did was my conclusion, my ending. I want to make sure I plan out what I'm going to say so I don't forget what I want to say when I actually go to write it in sentences and paragraphs. Whew, it's a lot of work, but now it's your turn to create your outline for your essay. I want you to open to a clean page in the writing portion of your writing notebook. Use the essay outline structure to create your own outline for your own essay. Remember, you can rewind, pause, and rewatch this video as much as you want. So use it as a resource so you can create your own organized essay outline to show the structure of what will later turn into sentences and paragraphs of an official, successful middle school literary essay. All right, off you go.